Science and engineering are the closest things we have to magic. We have space telescopes able to peer back in time to the origins of the known universe, or particle accelerators, facilitating collisions of subatomic particles poking into a quantum realm. A 5G global communication system allowing us to interact with each other from across the world at light speeds. All of these modern realities our ancestors just 100 years ago would see as wizardry, even magic. Although it's hard for us to fathom right now, there is no doubt that what the next 100 years has in store for humanity would be considered magic to us today. In this video, we will explore a world that adopts artificial intelligence and how it will change us as a species, and why the last generation of humans might be us. In order to understand the future of AI, we have to understand why AI was invented in the first place. Why? What is the ultimate goal that humanity is aiming to accomplish with this technology? The first personal computers in the 1970s were capable of trivial tasks like calculating data with inputs and outputs displayed as spreadsheets for the average person. Before this time, computers were designated to larger corporations, science and engineering labs, and things like that. But the personal computer took the power of those larger enterprises and brought them onto the desks of millions of people. In the 1990s, computers were able to display multimedia like images and videos and could share information peer-to-peer via networks. In the 2000s, with the widespread adoption of social media and the internet, people can now access and produce images, videos, and documents on their smartphones, meaning all the capabilities that personal computers had are now available in our pockets. We now largely depend on these devices for almost every task we do, as without these tools, we are very limited naturally. As Steve Jobs said, the computer is like the bicycle of the mind, and this kind of technology, like computers and smartphones, only amplify our abilities as humans. The ultimate goal we're after with technology is efficiency. How can we squeeze the most computational power in the most accessible device? In fact, the same reasons why we built computers are the same reasons why we're building AI, but for problem solving, something that simple computers can't do. Instead of just throwing a prompt at a computer and having it spit out some information back, we want this computer to learn from the inputs. This way they can analyze that data and come to logical conclusions about it. In other words, machines that can learn on their own, so that when they encounter a new problem in the future, they can solve it without any human help. Much like taking the training wheels off of a bicycle, we don't just want to simulate the computational function of the human brain, but we want to simulate the problem-solving aspect to it. We want to simulate the reasoning skills of the human brain as well. We want to replicate the human brain. Throughout human history, from the wheel to fire to the steam engine to modern AI, we've been in constant pursuit of technology that can simulate all of our biological abilities and perhaps even supersede them. We are now at a meeting point where computational power and AI are meeting at levels that are sufficient enough to give rise to exponential advancements for our species and beyond. But can we really produce something as powerful as ourselves? Today's AI in your phone or computer, it's mainly narrow contextual AI, which relies on inputs and can perform a few tasks. This is tech present in things like Siri and Alexa, Google Assistant. Reasoning AI can simulate complex thought processes, analyze data, and actually draw logical conclusions. This is more of like what our brains do. They don't just calculate and perform tasks, they also analyze, recollect, intercompare, and reason. Autonomous vehicles like Tesla's EVs incorporate narrow reasoning machine learning. Using images from cameras attached to the car, they can now analyze and dictate the entire driving route for nearly full self-driving, much like us humans use our eyesight for imagery data when driving. Even more exciting, AI developed by Google has made a huge leap in solving one of biology's largest challenges, determining a protein's 3D shape from its amino acid sequence. This task was challenging to scientists, something that would have taken us decades to do, but an AI model was already able to perform much faster. But remember, today's AI still operates within a narrow window of tasks. In June 2020, the world was introduced to GPT-3, an AI model designed for understanding prompts and executing complex tasks. This was a big milestone since the interface was simple enough for typical people to use. In March 2023, GPT-4 was released, taking a step further in human-AI interaction by providing more contextually aware and personified assistance. The clear trend is for AI to be more human-like in its output. GPT-5 goes a step further. It could handle multiple tasks simultaneously and deliver more detailed, personalized responses. Businesses could implement ChatGPT-5 to handle customer inquiries, reducing response time and improving customer experience. GPT-5 is also anticipated to be a game changer for content creators. It could create original blog posts, write essays, create poems, and even compose songs. Language learners can use GPT-5 as a practice tool. It's expected to understand multiple languages, making it an excellent partner for conversation practice, almost human-like. And ChatGPT-6 will be another step towards human-like AI, improving on past systems. And by 2026, most, if not all, online search engines will be replaced with AI at the GPT-6 level. You won't just get a list of search results, you'll get a curated explanation with context included. And GPT-7, which could be released before 2028, is expected to finally achieve AGI, intelligence on par with humans. It will have the ability to watch any content and learn from it as a human can, be able to generate art and music just like a human, and be able to research like humans, and come up with conclusions just like humans can. It's crazy to think how close we are to this technology. To understand how rapidly the brain power of AI language models is growing, let's use the human brain as a benchmark here, which has an estimated 86 billion neurons firing off 60 trillion synapses to run all of its processes. Think of human synapses like parameters. This is what the AI technicians call the correlations that language models build as they are trained. A Microsoft AI program in 2018 had 340 million parameters, similar to 340 million synapses. GPT-3 had 75 billion parameters, while GPT-4 logged in at 540 billion parameters. GPT-5 will likely have a neural network that is firing nearly 4 trillion synapses. And eventually this means GPT-7 will be as smart or smarter than we are, and coming a lot sooner than we think. This could change society in ways that would shock us. By 2028, AGI could replace white-collar jobs such as lawyers, accountants, and clerks. AGI will be used in media and art, with even original animations being produced from scratch. This will disrupt the entire music and film industries. Just imagine being able to produce an entire original album or an entire original movie with the press of a button. By that time, the exponential changes are really going to be apparent. And by 2030, the educational system is going to see a major overhaul too, with human teachers being utterly replaced with AI teachers who can personalize any lesson for any student, no matter how many there are. The holy grail of education, a standalone technology that can produce a lesson or even an entire thorough educational experience for any student, no matter what level they're at, no matter how they learn. It's going to be a completely personalized experience for students that current teachers today just can't do at scale. And by 2033, companies will implement AGI in the robotic workers, where most blue-collar jobs will be replaced with AI. As robotic employees become cost-justified for these companies, they will utilize this technology, and in the short term, this is going to disturb the economy. At this point, AI would have already abruptly disturbed the economy altogether. In many ways that might seem harsh at first, but in the long term they will be useful, much like the automobile was to the horse and buggy. People and governments will find a way to adapt, but the changes have only just begun. There's a problem. You see, in order to really replicate the human brain, we can't use silicon atoms as we do in the digital world. Our brains don't run on silicon atoms. There's another medium that more closely resembles the human brain's workings. At this time, digital computing is reaching its upper limits. It's an old linear system built on zeros and ones, these bits of data, very binary system, which transistors can represent on silicon chips, and silicon transistors are becoming smaller and smaller and smaller to fit more of them on these chips to increase computational power. Today's Apple M3 chip works on a 3 nanometer platform. That's just several atoms across. At some point, very soon, computational power in the digital world will come to a halt. There's only so much we can squeeze out of silicon. However, quantum computing is the only frontier that can really solve this issue. The race amongst tech giants like Microsoft, IBM, and Google. The race to reach a viable quantum computer. It's a signifier that we're not only reaching the limits of the digital world, but we're reaching new territories. A leap bigger than the leap from analog to digital. The leap from digital to quantum is even exponentially greater in terms of power and impact. Unlike traditional computers which work on zeros and ones, binary states, quantum computers can calculate using multiple states at one time. Multiple binary states simultaneously. This is going to offer an exponential increase in computational power relative to any digital computer we have today, even the most advanced supercomputer we have. Because quantum computers can analyze an entire set of data and extract very complex patterns that digital computers would just simply miss. And it can do this at ultra speeds. So here's a very simple analogy to understand how a digital computer works versus a quantum computer. Let's take a mouse in a maze, for example. And this mouse wants to calculate how to reach the end of the maze. If the mouse is a digital computer, well, that mouse only has 2 ways to go, either left or right. So if it wants to map out all the possible paths, it has to go one by one, left or right, until it finds the correct path. It's very time consuming, but that's how digital computers work. In that maze, there could be hundreds, even thousands of paths, so that would take a long time to calculate, given only 2 binary states to travel through. But in a quantum computer, the mouse is able to survey all possible paths simultaneously. So it's kind of like the mouse splits itself into pieces and is able to traverse all possible states at one time. As you can see, this completely speeds up the process of finding the correct path. Now you might be thinking, this violates common sense. Common sense says that you can only be here or there at one time. Well, that's the entire point of quantum computers. They take advantage of something called superposition, where particles can exist in 2 states at one time, 0 and 1. That's the power of quantum computers. I mean, we're talking about operating on individual particles. So as you can see, this is a huge leap forward in terms of simulation power, because it can calculate the best possible solution way more rapidly than any digital computer can. Quantum computers are already performing thousands of times faster than any digital computer, performing calculations in seconds that would have taken digital computers hundreds of years to do. Because digital computers are terrible at simulating the world. They're slow, but quantum computers, this is where they excel. How does this relate to human brains and AI? Nature is quantum. We are quantum mechanical. Photosynthesis works on quantum mechanics, and so does every atomic interaction in your body, including your brain. If we want to truly replicate our brains, we have to use quantum mechanics to more closely resemble the quantum behaviors occurring in all of our neurotransmitters and synapses. Pairing these ultra-powerful computers with AI, this technology could usher humanity into an era of abundance. By 2050, these computers could enable ASI, artificial superintelligence, trillions of times more capable than any human brain. It could be used to revolutionize medicine, swiftly tackling diseases like cancer, enhancing battery efficiency in cars and solar arrays. Imagine getting 2,000 miles on a single charge in your cars. Or how about refining nuclear fusion, biotechnology, and potentially uncovering the mysteries preceding the Big Bang, or validating complex scientific theories like string theory. It could also lead to the economic solutions that make it possible for robotics to completely handle the supply and demand chain of the economy. In other words, we could demand a car, for example, and ASI would be able to quickly calculate economically how to manufacture the car and deliver it to your home. It would work out the logistics from start to finish without any human intervention, meaning humans would no longer need to work. It could even solve for age reversal in humans, meaning we never age again. It could also give us the ability to genetically renovate human biology, being able to repair any disease and edit the genetic code to fix or regenerate any part of the human body. The possibilities are literally endless. And with every qubit added to the quantum computers comes the potential of double the computational speed and power. With enough qubits, you can achieve exponential increases in computing power. Now, of course, with this immense power comes immense risk. Any government with a sufficient quantum computer would have the ability to break any passcode on any device in the entire world. Governments would have to work together to cooperate with this technology in order to actualize an abundant world. It's up to us, but perhaps not for long. With artificial superintelligence achieved, the age of abundance actualized, all diseases eliminated, and age reversal allowing humans to live for as long as they choose, what would be the point of us? Much like playing a video game with cheat codes on, it gets boring after a while. By 2060, quantum computers will likely be accessible to all humans. Just as we have digital computer networks where we can store and process data on the cloud with powerful digital servers, we would connect the quantum cloud, which is based on quantum-based servers, since they require absolute zero conditions to operate properly. Not only could we convert our biological neural networks into digital brains, but we'd likely be able to upload parts of our consciousness onto the cloud as well. With our thoughts, feelings, emotions, and memories stored into the cloud, we will leave our biological brains behind for a digital consciousness. After all, every thought and feeling we have is a physical quantum mechanical phenomenon. By 2070, the entire human connectome could be mapped out, meaning every neuron, every synapse will have a digitally equivalent counterpart on the quantum cloud. We may be able to completely convert your human experience into the digital world, a digital copy of your consciousness on the cloud. Much like Avatar, we'd be able to upload and download our entire human experience into robotic bodies, perhaps even new biological ones. It's almost inevitable that humans will merge with AI to amplify our entire biological experience as digital beings, meaning a sense of digital immortality is achieved. With this technology, we would be able to send your consciousness into the universe at the speed of light, freely exploring the rest of the cosmos. Humanity would never be the same. Our species would go extinct biologically, but digitally, we'd go on. With virtual reality at this point being indistinguishable from reality, some humans may choose to live permanently in virtual reality worlds, perhaps ones where they simulate their past lives, going through challenges and experiencing life as a biological being again, an experience which will seem worth enduring. Much like when we play video games, we intentionally don't play with the cheat codes. We yearn for that challenge, for the experience, which only raises the question, perhaps we are in a virtual reality right now. But this possible reality seems impossible to fathom today. We think that biological life is the only form of life, the only form of experiencing the cosmos, that somehow our form of life and consciousness is special. But the future humanity will be a more humble one where the very technology they devised in the first place to pursue this superpower only made them realize they already had it. Humans began in the plains of Africa, using simple tools like stones and rocks and wheels to amplify their abilities as humans. And just as those tools amplified our bodily abilities, we yearn to amplify our consciousness and our understanding of the universe through more advanced tools. Exploration and discovery is in our nature. This pursuit of knowledge, this urge to learn what's out there, has transformed our species hundreds of times since we've begun, especially in the past few hundred years. And the changes are ever increasing in rate. As you can see, we're capable of greatness, of great things. An age of true freedom and abundance for all. Digital immortality, one that we would typically call magic, could soon become a reality. And if you're having a hard time fathoming this, that's normal. Just imagine telling somebody 100 years ago about how a smartphone operates. It would be impossible for them to fathom. But now a multiverse of possibilities have opened up for us. With science and engineering, anything is possible, even things that we would call magical. And in this endeavor, in this pursuit of understanding, we might just find that the ultimate goal is to have no ultimate goal. That likely even when we reach these incredible levels of abundance and prosperity, no matter how intelligent we become, no matter how many secrets of the universe we uncover, our experiences as humans are still just as invaluable, just as sought after as any other experience. Our experiences in this universe are forever unique, no matter the medium in which we exist as living beings in the future. We are part of this grand cosmos, and always will be.